So I was scrambling to get down here so that I can go live ASAP with all the things. So, how's everyone doing on this what day is it? On this Monday. Oh, my days of the week are just all over the place. How's everyone doing on this Monday? If you can let me know that you can hear me all right, that the sound's coming through, that'd be great. Get a bit of a sound check from the audience. I assume that my mic is connected. I didn't bother to check this time. So am I. I mean, I'm not only buzzing, I'm trying to quantify it. I'm someone who I always say the numbers don't matter, while at the same time I'm trying to quantify the numbers of what went down this weekend. So it's like a double-edged sword. It's like I don't care about the numbers on one hand, but on the other hand, I feel like the numbers matter somehow to some people, and so I like to have them um, at my fingertips and have accurate numbers on everything. So I hope to have that as I work towards collecting all of the videos of all of the readings that took place over the last 3 days, and then creating this web page dedicated to have all the videos on it so everyone can watch it, um, or watch anyone that they missed, or rewatched anyone that they missed, or saw and want to see it again. Because as far as I know, not everyone went ahead and just posted theirs. So let me just see how we're doing here. I'll give a few more minutes, and then I'm going to literally go over the entire calendar year of essentially what is planned for Top and Fiction. So there is quite a lot to discuss. It's my looking forward moment where I get to um, make a lot of goals and hope that I actually meet them. And I think that that's going to be a part of what we're going to do moving forward. So next year in January, when I kick off the TiF Summit with the annual recap, one of the segments of that will be looking at what I promised here in this State of the Union and how much of what I promised here actually happened, and then capturing that it happened, how it happened, the numbers on those things. I didn't really do that with this one, so I want to make sure to make like a mental note to myself that I have a bunch of things planned here and they should be a part of how I wrap up this year when I discuss the annual recap come next January. So that way we can know if we actually met our goals, right? What's the point of having goals if you don't know or if you're not tracking that you're meeting them? So I want to make sure and I want to be accountable to you guys that I'm not just saying all these things and then like I ghost it and I never even say like, hey, we actually did it. Um, we want to make sure that we actually get these things done, or I want to make sure that I get these things done. They're pretty ambitious, and it's going to require um, not just me, but everyone to make them happen. Okay, so let's get started. This is the Top and Fiction State of the Union. I believe this might just be the second one. I don't, because the first official year of Top and Fiction was just 6 months. I know that I think I did one last summer thereabouts or last spring. Um, so I'm going to try to now start doing these every January and kind of capture the whole year prior. That's my goal. So and the point of the State of the Union is not to look back, but to look forward, right? So we're only going to talk about what's coming for this year, what I'd like to do for this year, what I'm planning to do for this year, and this will encompass both Top and Fiction and TIFF Press. And for those who aren't familiar, TIFF Press will officially kind of be in set in motion this year, where we're going to actually start publishing anthologies. So our first two anthologies will be published this year, and I'll go into that in a second. But so we've got Top in Fiction, which essentially drives and is the engine for all things that happen here. Its entire mission is to seek out fiction writers, to promote fiction writers, to bring fiction writers together in collaborative ways. And then we have TIFF Press, which will hopefully take what Top in Fiction manages to do and create anthologies and ways to actually pay writers. And one of those ways that I decided to finally just turn on, because a lot of people have been asking for it and wondering why we haven't done it, excuse me, as you know, is we turned on paid subscriptions. But I just want to remind everyone that nothing is behind a paywall. And I put that with a little bit of an asterisk because of what I'm going to mention next. But the point of being a paid subscriber is to just be a patron and to know that 100% of the money that we get from Top and Fiction is going towards either the maintenance work of, having the website, running the website, and then first and foremost, paying writers. And how do we seek, or how am I seeking to pay writers? One of the things I want to do this year, and I can't say when it's going to start, when it's going to officially happen, because um, getting monthly paid subscribers is paramount to making this happen. But I want to do a short story of the month club. And so the idea of the short story of the month club is that there will be one story a month that will be exclusively featured on Top in Fiction. It will be free to everyone, but here's the asterisk I was talking about with the paid subscriptions and not putting anything behind a paywall. I want to at least give paid subscribers early access. So ideally, the story will come out 1 week early. The paid subscribers will get to read it a week before everyone else, and then it will open up to everybody and it will be free to everyone. And the short story that is selected to be the exclusive short story of the month will get paid from the monthly paid subscribers. And I want to emphasize monthly because I know there are people who would prefer to do or be an annual subscriber. And while I love that, and that will go towards more maintenance things, in order for me to make sure that I can pay writers on a monthly basis, I do need monthly subscribers. It's just better to track the money. It's better to disperse the money if it's coming in on a monthly basis. So I want to do a bit of a, I guess you could call it a tier system, if you will. And so I will not start this monthly short story of the month club thing until we have 10 paid monthly subscribers. So once Top in Fiction has 10 paid monthly subscribers, I am going to open the doors to start asking the fiction community to send me their short stories. I don't know yet if it's going to be theme based, if I'm going to have any. I mean, I know I will have guidelines and all of those things. I don't have them yet, and luckily we don't have 10 paid subscribers yet, so I have time to come up with what that will look like and what we'll be looking for. But I can tell you it will be short stories, not novellas, not novelettes. I will tell you the word count specifically, all of those little nuanced details. I'm sure you guys are wondering what about in terms of what kind of short story we'll be looking to feature exclusively on Top in Fiction when the time comes. So if we get 10 paid monthly subscribers, I will do one short story per month, and that the writer of that story for that month will get paid from the 10 monthly subscribers that we have. Then I will increase the pay per short story once we reach 15. So when we have 15 paid monthly subscribers, then I'm still going to do one story a month. That's it, one short story a month, but the money that that writer will get will go up. Um, Now, the most that I'm willing to do is 2 short stories per month because I don't wanna turn this into a, Top in Fiction is only putting out short stories because I wanna kinda make sure that that kind of thing is on TIFF Press. Predominantly, I think more money can be made there, and I don't want to turn into a thing where all of my monthly paid subscribers turn out to be fiction writers themselves. If that's the case, it's like we're paying each other, and so I want to be able to put out fiction that will go beyond the fiction community to exclusively just readers. So while I want to do this short story of the month club, I don't want it to be that I have like some, let's throw a crazy number out there, 100 paid monthly subscribers, and now I'm looking at doing one short story a week, and I'm figuring and calculating all of that. I don't want to put myself in that position. I'd rather have it so 25 paid monthly subscribers will do 2 short stories per month. Okay, and that's the max that I'm willing to do per month. I'm not going to, if we get more than 25 paid monthly subscribers, what will essentially happen is there will eventually be a cap on how much the writers for each short story that we select twice per month will get. And then the excess will go towards other things like and paying a cover artist, paying an artist to maybe illustrate each of the 2 short stories if we wanted, or things like that, right? But to start small, to start simple, I'm just looking to get monthly subscribers so that I can start at least having one monthly exclusive short story on Top in Fiction. The writer gets paid for that story, because I think that's the best and only route to take if we want others to do this, if we want to see, because I see it all the time where these Substack publications or even just regular websites, they pop up and they say, we can't pay you, but we can offer you our subscriber lists because when we put your story on our website, on our Substack, we have, 20,000 subscribers, and that ought to be the payment that you get. I don't want to do that. Do we have a lot of subscribers? Yes, but that's not the point. The point is I want to lead by example, and the example is if we're going to have short stories exclusive on Top and Fiction, I'm only going to do it if I can pay the writer. So, and again, would I love to pay them, you know, hundreds of dollars for the short story? Yes. That's the mountain I'm looking to get to, but I have to start somewhere. Okay. Now let's look at, and like I said, when this starts, let me just emphasize the short story of the month club will not start until I have 10 paid monthly subscribers. Okay. And if you want, I can let you know in like once a month or something in the weekly or monthly recap email that I send out, how many we have and how many we need in order to reach that milestone. But once we do, it's going to take me about a month to 2 months after that to get the guidelines in order, get the form in order, get the word out, get stories submitted, read through the story, select the one we want, and then publish that one like on the third month after that, right? So it's going to be a time consuming thing. It's just and it's an engine I'd like to start this year. Whether it starts in the first half of the year or the second half of the year, I don't know. But at some point this year, I want to be able to say that we for three or four short paid 3 or 4 short story writers to have their stories exclusively on Top in Fiction, and I wanna say when I say exclusively, I only mean for a set number of months. It's not going to be something where it can only be on Top in Fiction and you can never take it and publish it again. You obviously have 100% rights to that story. We're just gonna ask for it to be on Top in Fiction for a set number of months, and then after that, you can do with it what you wish. Okay, so now let's look at the calendar. January, you can say, "This is all we have planned for January," and it was a lot, so I don't wanna, I guess I don't wanna say don't ever, but truthfully, we will likely only do the TIFF Summit in January. That will be the only major thing aside from releasing our weekly issues and monthly recap that happens in January because it is a lot to do. But let's talk about something new that I want to do for for 2026. And while we're working on anthologies for TIFF Press, two of them this year, hopefully, not hopefully, but definitely will be published this year. The other thing will be I want to do a volume of work, a volume of short stories. And the idea that I came up with recently is the murder room. Um, and this is an event that's going to take place throughout the entire year. There's no real set date on it, on like, okay, this is the deadline you have to write your story, because it's something that I just want to keep in the back of people's minds. And whenever they feel like they've got something to contribute to the murder room, they can. Um, and so I'm going to read you this little blurb that I wrote in my head about what the murder room is. Okay. Um, and I'm going to read it exactly as I wrote it so you can understand how I essentially talk to myself, come up with ideas, and then, you know, literally write it down and see if it's worth sticking. And we'll see if this is something that sticks and if it's something that we end up doing, in which case it will be the first volume of work that TIFF Press puts together. It'll be done similarly to an anthology, but it might be a little bigger, and it's going to be um, visually represented differently. So it's not going to be like your normal 8.5, 8 by 5 measured, cream paper type thing. I want it to look different and be very different. But here's what I wrote. Picture it. You have a layover in a small town you've never heard of for a couple of hours. With no Wi Fi signal to help keep you occupied on your computer or phone, you find yourself wandering the airport. Then you find yourself outside to get some fresh air when you see a faded sign low to the ground that reads, "The Murder Room. This way." Looking around, you realize no one else is there to ask if you're reading this right. Shrugging your shoulders, you make your way down a path dense with bushes and trees till it opens up to what looks like a large, stately home. A girl of teenage years sits behind the reception desk chewing gum, her nose stuck in a book she's almost finished. Without looking up at you, she points a manicured finger and says, "The room you're looking for is down the hall to your left. Can't miss it." And she was right. A large, ornate plaque reads, "The Murder Room," with an arrow pointing to the left. You walk through a set of double doors, and the smell of a musty room hits your nostrils first. The sunlight creeping through rips in dark, partially closed curtains reveals dancing dust in the air, illuminating dozens of display cases of all shapes and sizes. The double doors swing closed behind you, the sound echoes, signaling just how large the room must be. You take one step closer when a disembodied voice startles you. "We've been expecting you." Okay, so that I'm setting the scene for what the murder room is. It's essentially this old museum in the way back of a place that can be anywhere in your mind. Think of it almost like a Twilight Zone type of thing. You're wandering, you find this place, it's the murder room, it's a museum in some old house. So the idea is you enter a room of your own creation. The murder room has many displays of objects belonging either to the killer or the victim during a time of great tragedy. You decide the story behind each display case, the items contained within, and how they tie back to the killer. What will we find in your display case? So you get to decide what's in it. You're walking through a museum and someone happens upon a display case that you did the research on and put together, and now let's pretend you're like the tour guide and now you're explaining the story behind, you know, an old shoe that's just one shoe. What's the story behind the one shoe, right? Like you essentially come up with what's in this display case. It can be anything you want. It could be any size you want. It's your display case and you decide, and it belongs in the murder room. And you decide if you're going to tell the story from the point of view of the victim, the point of view of the killer, of both. You decide how it works out. Um, So that's my idea that I have. I want it to run throughout the entire year. Sometime in February, I will have a more detailed information on this. I'll give you this little write-up that I created. I'll probably zhuzh it up a bit. I know it needs a lot of work. I wrote that like literally on the fly, um, quite some time ago. Um, but yeah, so that's something to look forward to for me to tell you about in February. Now let's move on to March. March is a big month because March is when we will officially release our first anthology, which is the ICU anthology. I have it scheduled for March 13th. I am trying very hard to stick to that schedule. Due to a lot of unforeseen circumstances, I am very late with sticking to that schedule, but I am hopeful that in the coming weeks, I will be able to get myself back on track so that at least I can have a pre-order before March 1st. So my goal is to have a pre-order ready before March 1st and to have the proof copy in my hands of the print book in my hands sometime in February so that I can get this ball rolling. But March 13th, which is I believe is a Friday, Friday the 13th is the expected release date for the very first TIFF Press um, publication, which will be awesome. We will spend I'm gonna try to spend as much time as possible in the promotion mode in March, April, and May because, that's one of the things I'm looking to work on for myself and looking to bring on people to help me do that, to help me promote as much and as far and wide as possible. So I know that will take a lot of time and effort from me, so look for, the springtime to be pretty quiet in terms of any real events or anything from me because I'm going to be going hard on promoting the ICU anthology and making sure it sells as many copies in either ebook or print book form as possible. It will be paperback print book, by the way. Okay, so let's fast forward to June, which is crazy. We're already at the middle of the year. So in June is the date that everyone, I'm sure, will be waiting for. The TIFF, the 2027 TIFF Summit sign up opens officially. Why am I opening it in June? Because it takes a long damn time to put something like this together. And I think last year, I might have started this in more like August or September. I'll have to look back in my notes to see when I did it, but I want to give myself as much time as possible because I know that, again, when I did it last year, I didn't promote it very much. I don't think I pushed it very much seeking people. So I want to make sure that I not only give people enough time who haven't been or weren't a part of it, heard about it while it was happening this past weekend, and now want to be a part of it. I want to give those people the opportunity to know that it's coming up, that it's happening. And so, yes, it will open for 2 full months from June to August. You will have 2 full months to sign up, and I'm going to do a hard closeout on August 15th. The only exceptions I will make after August 15th is if anyone who signs up during that time drops out. So after August 15th, however many people I have, that's the number I'm going to be working with for how many I'm going to have. And the reason why I need to be very hard and fast on that is because of timing, right? So I had 50, I expected to have 50 readers this past week, and I have 48 due to, people dropping out and things like that. I need to know what time, how many hours I'm doing for each day. If I need to add a day and make it 4 days instead of three, it's hard for me to nail that down. If I keep this open too long, if I let people jump in after the sign up closes, I think 2 months is more than enough for me to be able to let people know that it's open, give people the opportunity to sign up. And if they don't, then they'll unfortunately have to wait till the next year that we do it again. Because that was one of the things that was the issue. Get as we got all the way into January, that people were trying to get in, and I was letting people in January, and it's a lot of work. Trust me, wrangling. And I would love to have more than 50 in the next one, right? I'm looking to set a goal of, 60 or more to be a part of this event and to extend it from 3 to 4 days. So I am hopeful that that's what will happen. So June 15th, write it down somewhere, put it in your calendars, in your alert system, whatever you need to know. June 15th, you will receive an email from Top and Fiction. I'm assuming you're all subscribed to Top and Fiction. You'll want to go to your settings, your subscriber settings for Top and Fiction, and make sure you turn on TIFF notifications. It's an email that's not turned on automatically. You have to opt in to receive TIFF notification emails. So if you want to make sure you don't miss this opportunity or any of the other opportunities I'm about to talk about for the next, you know, 5 months or whatever, then you need to make sure you have TIFF notifications turned on. That is how you will receive emails aside from following TIFF team or the TIFF team account on Substack, because I'll make sure to try to promote it in notes as often as possible. Um, okay, so in September, something interesting is happening in September. And while I have a huge write up about it, can't tell you. I am making uh, notes to myself of how I want to promote this. I'm gonna give you a clue, and there are some people in the room who will probably know what I mean when I say this clue, and so I'm gonna ask them not to spoil it. They don't know who they are, but there are some people in this room who are going to know what I'm alluding to when I give you this clue for what's coming in the month of September, and I do not want anyone to spoil it by putting it in the chat. Have I made myself clear? Okay. So so my one clue for what is coming in September, and you'll have to wait until then to find out what's coming in September, but it is, I can tell you, it's an event. And if you remember, um, I said contests are going to be anthologies, events are just events. This is just an event. Um, I I haven't decided yet if I want to turn this into a contest and an event to make it an anthology. I think it's fine to just have it an event. Um, but my one clue is 11. That is the only clue you get right now. If you know what I'm talking about, don't say it. But in September, the only clue that I have for you right now is the number 11, and I'm moving on. Okay, that's coming in September. Now, at the end of September, okay, I want to do one contest slash event similar to what we did with inanimate objects last year. Um, I've got another one. And the one that's the contest slash event that's coming, I'm going to have judges like I did with the ICU contest, and then with the inanimate objects contest. There will be judges, there will be winners, there will be prizes. Who those judges are, what those prizes will be, I don't know yet. I'm still in conversation and contact with people to make all of that spin to life. But I can tell you the theme or the name of the event, and it is These Wicked Things. These Wicked Things will be the third TIFF Press anthology that will come out in 2027. So I'm trying to keep it that I'm only releasing 2 books a year because again, I don't want to stretch myself too thin because I have my own stuff that I want to publish and write and do. So unless I'm getting paid a 9 to 5 salary here, I can only do but so much, right? But the event will happen this year with plans to, invite some of the people in the event slash contest to be in the anthology planned for 2027. How you define wicked is totally up to you. Just these wicked things is likely going to be the title of the anthology, the theme of the anthology. How you define it is up to you. There will be all the questions you might have about what this is going to be will be presented to you on September 28th. So if you want to write that down, September 28th, I will open up the contest and ask if you're participating on the 28th. And if you remember how this works, because it confuses a lot of people that we make it a contest and an event. In order to be in in order to receive an invite, not everyone receives an invite, okay? But in order to possibly get an invite, you have to either participate or enter the contest. You don't It's not an exclusive thing where only people who enter the contest will receive an invite to be in the anthology. You just have to participate. And the way that you let me know that you're participating is you will fill out a form that will essentially ask you for the secret link to your story. Okay, so if you want a possible invite in our third anthology that TIFRES will be releasing, then you will need to either participate in the event, meaning you're just going to write a story for the event. It won't be judged by any judges. Or you enter the contest where you will be judged by whoever the judges are, and the winner will receive some sort of prizes. And typically, the winner also gets their story is first in the anthology. Okay, now we're into October, which is spooky season. Pentober will be happening again. I wanted to do Pentober 52, and that kind of fell by the wayside again because I had so much going on. I had to table that, which the idea was to do every Sunday Pentober in 2026, where you would handwrite a story. But we are going to do Pentober in October, which is for 31 days. There will be 31 words as prompts, and the idea is that you handwrite your story. Put away technology, put away your phone, step away from your computer, pull out pen and paper, write on whatever you want to write on, and write your story. Take a picture of it, and then you share it on Substack. And then I like to take a grouping of those every week and kind of put them together and send an email out to show you. What people have been writing based on the prompts. So that will be happening in October this year. And the event for These Wicked Things, right? So These Wicked Things, it begins on September 28th, and the date that all the stories, whether you're entering the contest or participating, will go live on Substack is October 30th. Okay, so on October 30th, all the stories will go live. I'm on the fence about doing it on Halloween Day. I might change it to October 31st, but for right now, I set it for October 30th. Um, let's put a TBD on that, but you're going to essentially have a full month to write your story for this. And actually you're going to have more than that because I'm telling you about the event now, so there's nothing stopping you from doing it. Just know that if you post your story before the event, it won't count. So if you do have a story that you want to write now for These Wicked Things, write it, set it aside, and don't actually publish it on your Substack until October 30th, or it won't count. Okay, if you want to be a part of the event, if you want to just participate or enter the contest, the only way to do so is if your story is brand new, written exclusively for this event, and goes live on October 30th. Okay, don't say I didn't warn you about that. So don't make me regret telling you that this event is happening right now. You go ahead and you write one and you post it, and then I tell you because you posted it in March, it's disqualified and it can't get an invite to the anthology. Okay? Told you guys. Pay attention. Um, Now we're heading into November. And one of the successful events I think that happened, and this one is just an event similar to the one that's coming in September, meaning there won't be an anthology coming off of this event at all, is the Secret Santa plot swap. So I'm working on a Secret Santa plot swap 2.0, if you will. And a lot of people love that event. A lot of people who weren't a part of that event, I know wanted to be and will want to be. So November 9th to November 13th. I repeat, November 9th to November 13th. It's just 5 days. That's when this thing opens. If you want to sign up, if you want to be a part of the Secret Santa plot swap, you better be ready with your plot on that date. Now, it's probably not going to be the same um, the same thing that I did last year, which was that it was just a box. It's a box. What's in the box is up to you. You tell people what's in the box as your plot, and then it gets swapped, and that person now has to take that information and turn it into a story. I might still use the same thing. It might be one of those things that's evergreen. So every year I can continue to use the same thing, and what people think of to put inside the box changes, and it's just an endless sea of possibilities of what can be inside a box. Um, so don't hold me to that, but let's just say for now, I am 95% on using the same concept of what's inside the box. Okay, so the idea is from the 9th to the 13th, you're not simply signing up to say, yeah, I want to be a part of it. You have to have your plot too. And I believe it's like 50 words. So you need to have 50 words for what your plot is, and the plot will be what's inside the box. So when you sign up, you need to be able to give me that information, because I will then be handing out the swaps, because you need enough time to write, whatever story you're going to end up writing. I will be handing out the swaps on the 16th. So I only have like 2 days to take all the people signing up, do my secret formula that I do that swaps them all and jumbles them all up. And then on Monday morning, November 16th, you're going to be getting a DM from me in your Substack telling you what your swapped plot is. And you're going to have until from November 16th, okay, to December 22nd to write your story, because your story will go live on December 22nd. Follow me? Okay, so you're literally going to have a month from November 16th to December 22nd to write your story, and then all of everyone's stories will go live on the 22nd. I will come on here live like I did last year. I think it was even on the same date, December 22nd, and I will reveal who wrote a story for whom, using whose plot. And I'm hoping to, um, like last year or unlike last year, to have more people participate to do the swap. Um, it's strange, but I can't remember how many we had this year. I think it was over 20. I think it was 28 or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we had a lot. I'm hoping to get more this year. And so that is what's happening. Now, the other thing that I have on is the TIFF Day of Thanks. It didn't go quite as planned, and I can't remember if it was because I was sick, or what the case may be, but it didn't quite hit it off. I am going to try to do it again, and see if there will be more takers this year than there was last year. But I am going to also do the TIFF Day of Thanks sign up. And the idea is that all the fiction writers, readers, whatever, just give a bit of a thank you to any writers, either the specific writer or the specific writer's story, um, to say thank you for either their body of work or their specific piece of work. And then I will either do a live or just send out an email with all of these notes. And it can be anonymous, or you can actually say you want it to come directly from you. Um, okay, so there were two things I didn't mention, and I want to quickly mention them. So the Inanimate Objects Anthology release. Initially, I had it for August, and because things are not quite certain with the ICU and making sure I hit March 13th, um, while I would love to stick to the August release date, I don't wanna nail that down for myself. I haven't sent contracts out yet. There's a lot of things that I did for the ICU anthology to get us to where we are right now, which is a completed cover, the interior pages done. Like, there's a lot of things done there that haven't even revved up for, um the Inanimate Objects Anthology, but I do intend on releasing that this year. Um, I'm putting a pin in it on when exactly. It might actually come out, and probably appropriately closer to October. Um, so that's fine, which is it's Halloween month, right? I unfortunately do not have a set date that I'm willing to plant my flag on yet. The other thing I want to mention is, because I kind of dropped the ball on it this year, is the annual recap. Um, I was supposed to make the annual recap submission form open early enough for people to let me know what their favorite or best story that they wrote in 2025 available so that they can fill out this form. This year, I'm going to make sure that I have it open and that I give you guys plenty of time, right? So look for that on November 15th. Okay. Write that down. November 15th, I am going to open up the submission form for the annual recap. And essentially, that's going to give you 11 and a half months worth of whatever fiction you've written in 2026 to let me know which was your favorite. Now, this is unfortunately not open to just anybody. The only way you can be a part of the annual recap in this way is if you've been featured. So, my suggestion to you, because we're only on mid-January right now, is make sure you're writing fiction. Make sure you're writing fiction consistently and make sure you're letting me know that you're writing fiction consistently by, filling out the Friday submission form that opens up every Friday over the weekend so that you can be a part of either the weekly or the monthly recap. So either the weekly issues or the monthly issues, as long as you're featured at least once in a weekly issue or a monthly recap in that calendar year, then you are able to fill out the annual recap submission form. And what is that? So last year, I did a really cool thing where I turned it into this magazine. And would I love to be able to do that every year? Yes. If I had a team of volunteers, team of employees, if I had two of me, that's what would happen. But I don't. And I had a lot going on at the end of this year. So me doing this fancy magazine like I did the first year is just not going to happen. This year, all that I am doing though is I'm putting together a PDF that you guys will be getting in the coming weeks that will have, I think the final number was 70. So it's a smaller number than I would have liked, but considering I only gave people like 2 weeks notice to, get me what their best story was of the year, that was on me, not on the community. But like I said, this year I am making sure that I give a full month and a half to people to get me their best story of 2026 so that we can hopefully have the biggest badass, you know, annual recap that's going to have just the best of the fiction that was written on Substack from the fiction community that I will be putting together in a nice PDF with clickable links. You can have it, take it, spread it around amongst your friends. They can find stories based on their favorite genre, click it, and it will take them right to that story to read it. Okay, so that will be on November 15th. And let me see if I have a few things here that I wanted to add to like this to solidify and say this is gonna happen. Um, Unfortunately not. Now, if you notice from what I mentioned, there was only really one contest/event, which means there's only really one anthology opportunity that's coming in 2026. I will say that depending on how the September surprise event turns out, if it's received positively or if I get nothing, if no one participates in this event, um, but if people do, and if it becomes bigger than, I expected, that will be the fourth publication. So it will really be up to the community on if they're as excited of this opportunity as I am, knowing absolutely nothing about it except the fact that I said the number 11, um, which is the only clue that you'll get. There'll be other clues that will come throughout the next, 6 to 7 months leading into September when I will give you what it is and lay it all out for you. Um, but yeah, so really there is technically only one, and the other reason why I set myself up in that way is because of the volume 1 that I'm looking to do of the murder room. So, in my mind, the volume 1 is not going to be something where it's going to be purchasable on like Amazon or Barnes& and Noble. This volume 1 situation, I want it to be something that, I'm figuring out how to produce myself first as an ebook, um, where it will be for sale on the TIFF Press website, and you won't be able to buy it anywhere else, and then figure out how I can possibly get print copies and then mail those to people who buy the print copies. Um, so in my mind, I'm not counting it as a part of the like publication thing because I'm not getting an ISBN for it and stuff like that. It's just going to be like a sort of like a magazine, sort of not like a magazine, depending on how many stories are in there. It's not going to be formatted in the same way. It's going to be very different. Um, it's not going to be like a book of an anthology. It's going to be quite different. And depending on how many people I submit to the murder room, I might have to do multiple volumes in 1 year. Instead, I'm just thinking I'm going to get enough to maybe fill one volume's worth. And what is that? I don't know, 10 stories, maybe 6 stories. I don't know yet. This is all things that I'm kind of throwing the spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks, right? Um, but that's it. It might not seem like a lot, but trust me, it's a lot. There is one other thing, and I sort of hesitate to bring it up because it involves um getting other writing communities on board with me. Um, so I will give you as broad an overview of it as possible without revealing any real details. So I don't know how this will go over. But I want to do an annual anthology, which is not just an anthology of stories that are contributed and submitted to um, whatever events Top and Fiction hosts. I want to bring in other communities, and I know I probably don't even need to mention who those other communities are before for you to kind of know who and what I'm talking about, but there are other communities that do their own thing and have their own contests and have their own events and have their own winners, et cetera, et cetera. And so I have been kind of reaching out to those other communities to see if it's possible that we can all come together and at the end of each year nominate each community of that writing, whatever that writing niche community is, nominates 2 to 3 stories that they have seen while they've done whatever challenges, contests, events that they have done on their own to be a part of this collection, this overall collection that brings all of these communities together into one solid anthology that would include Top and Fiction and then at least 3 other, if not 4 other communities. I will say I got a yes from 2 out of the 3 that I reached 2 out of the 4 that I reached out to, and a no from 1 of the 4 that I reached out to, and then the 4th one I haven't heard from yet, so, I'm still trying to reach out to that 4th community, but because of that, I hesitate to mention what it might be called, or any real details about it because unless I got everyone on board and everyone ready and excited for this thing, it might not happen. So I don't want to get anyone's hopes up. But it was just a crazy idea I had in my head that, I'm not seeing all of the work that comes out of Substack fiction, even though I would love to be able to have the time and the scope and the mental capacity to see it all, I don't. So I know there are other communities out there, other horror communities, sci-fi communities, historical fiction communities, romance community. I know there are other communities out there that are doing their thing, and I would love to be able to have one place where they all kind of congregate to with certain pieces of work that they saw over their, 12 months of 2026 and said, it didn't win this contest event that we did, but it was so great. I think it would be awesome to invite them to nominate them to be in this anthology, which will bring other things together, right? So it would be um it would be cool if I can make that happen. I don't know if I can, so I won't say much more about it. But what I will say is, I hope everything that's going to happen this year at Top and Fiction and at TIFF Press will be um, enough to get you guys to participate, to continue to support Top and Fiction, and to be here for the entire year as we make our way through it all, because it's going to be a lot. Okay, so if you have any questions, I've been talking for almost an hour, which I knew it was going to probably be that long because I had a lot kind of to say. I know there were a couple of highlights in there that I saw people were excited about. Um, I'm really excited about the murder room. I will say I totally stole that from something I saw recently, which I can't remember, that literally had a murder room in it. And I was like, oh my God, how cool would that be if we had our own murder room and people just created things to put in the display cases in our murder room? Like, that would be awesome. Um, the These Wicked Things event, the Secret Santa's coming back. Some things are coming back and some things are brand new. So I think that's going to be a pretty good year. So if no one has any questions or anything, I can let you all go now after monopolizing your time for this long. Going once, going twice. I don't think I missed any questions, but I will scroll back just in case. I know there are several people in the room. There are. It's a pretty new thing, I think, for people to have more interaction when on Substack Live. I'm thinking in my mind how to make it seem a bit more like a Twitch thing, like a Twitch stream. Because even YouTube, I feel like when people live stream on YouTube, um, it's also sometimes crickets in there, like it's a weird concept for people to do live chatting. The only place I've ever seen it work really well, um, when it's a packed room is Twitch. I haven't seen it work really well anywhere else. The Murder Room will go live in February. I can attempt to give a specific date for February because I don't think I did give a date. I think I just threw it in February. Um, Let's say February 16th. I'm gonna write that down for myself to know that I need to have it all said and done by the 16th. But Monday, February 16th, the email that goes out on that day, the weekly email that goes out on that day will have all the information, specifically the submission form that you can use. And I will make sure I put it somewhere prominent so that and you could be reminded about it like every week literally that you can submit to the murder room, and I will have a dedicated page for it, et cetera, so that people know about it. I'm trying to come up with a really cool graphic for it where it's, any graphic artists out there who know how to use Canva or Adobe Express or anything. I wanted to just have a display case with a spotlight, and then it kind of has like the murder room in the display case type of thing, or the double doors with the murder room plaque is pointing, saying, this way. I'm trying to put together that kind of uh, work without the use of AI, please. I don't want to use AI. Um, so I'm trying to kind of create that so that I can have some sort of what do you call it? Promotional artwork. Um, and I'm trying to be more promotional this year. Like this year is going to be me trying to be a bit more promotional on what we're doing and what's happening, and being more transparent on what's happening in the hopes that um, it will be what people want, and we will make it a good year where we're paying writers. We're putting out anthologies to sell some books to also pay writers, because the writers in the anthologies have a contract where they get paid royalties from the sales of the books. Um, and we will always continue to do the TIFF weekly every week and the monthly recaps every month. And, business as usual. So, with that said, Thank you all for being here. I Today I released the TIFF weekly issue number 2 that was supposed to have released last Monday. Look for TIFF weekly number 3 to be released tomorrow. I'm doing a slow rollout every day of the emails that I have backed up. So I need to send out the annual recap email. I need to send out this one that I just did for the State of the Union, and then the um, the weekly issue number 3. So look for that to be back to back to back. So weekly issue number 3 on Tuesday. Wednesday will likely be the annual recap. Thursday will be this live that I just did with this hour-long thing, and I'll have it all in the body of the email. All the dates, all the things will be in there, including possibly a little bit of a teaser image for the September event that I'm not revealing just yet. So that will be it for now. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your Monday afternoons, and I will be back with a live in February, looking at the calendar, February 4th. So that's in like 2.5 weeks. So February 4th, I will be doing the monthly recap live for January. So I will see you guys then. Until then, see you later.